We need to check the rear end, we need to check the brakes, we need to put our new wheels and tires on here. Well, our brand used wheels and tires on here. I'm just going to take me some tape and mark these, and there goes the phone every time I'm recording. Boys, we got another one. I'm 19. That stupid air compressor, that thing kicks on every time I'm recording. Welcome to RCindustry. Well, hey, it's Rick here, and today we got to see if we can figure out old bluebrown here. She just don't run on all the cylinders or something. Something ain't right. So I don't know if we're losing compression between cylinders, or if it's the carburetor, or is it, we kind of looked over the spark plug wires, and many of you noted in that last video that whoever numbered the plugs used a Ford firing order, not a Chevrolet, so that was kind of interesting. But it is actually timed right on the distributor. You know, the plug wires go to the right ones and everything, but it still misses. I mean, it'll sit here and idle, but it misses when you've got it under load and it ain't got no power. I mean, I can't even, it won't turn the tires, I can tell you that. So, but anyway, let's dive into this thing. I thought maybe we'd do a compression test, pull all the spark plugs out, and let's do a compression test and make sure we're not leaking compression between two cylinders. You know, I've seen that happen before. So let's just dive right in. Show you more. Okay, well, like I said, I have verified that they are actually, the plug wires are actually on the right ones. So I'm going to mark these plug wires, because I'm going to take them loose and get them kind of out of the way. So I'm just going to take me some tape and mark these, and there goes the phone every time I'm recording. Okay, well, like I said, I have verified that they are actually, the plug wires are actually on the right ones. So I'm going to mark these plug wires, because I'm going to take them loose and get them kind of out of the way. So I'm just going to take me some tape and mark these, and there goes the phone every time I'm recording. Okay, so we got the old 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate going on here on this passenger side? Let's get them on there. Like I said, I know how things are. We're liable to have the distributor out of this thing before it's over with. And I'm going to go ahead and mark these. Not going to hurt a thing. Not going to hurt a thing. That could be 9, but then there's only 8. There's only 8 cylinders, so I think we'll figure it out. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. All right, show you more. 1, 3, 5, 7 if you want to get to heaven. Okay, so we got the plugs all out of it here, and of course this is 1, 3, 5, 7 if you're going to get to heaven, you know. So yeah, they're just as clean as. This one's a little dark. This is number 7. And maybe that one, but they're pretty white. Now, they are Autocraft or Auto-Light spark plugs. So they may not be, they're an AP26. I have no idea. I haven't looked up to see if it's the right heat, range or whatever. I'm not sure about that, but these all look pretty good. I mean, they're not fouled off with oil. I would expect, if it wasn't firing at all, that there would be a lot of deposits on that. Let's look at the other ones. So now we're over here at the other side, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? And that one's a little darker, number 2, but 4 and 8 are very clean. 6 is not bad. So if I was going to say any of them at all that are not, firing real good, would be this number 4 or number 2 here, and possibly if we look real close at these, you know, maybe number 7. But all in all, I think they're doing pretty good. So, at least reading the plugs. So, and we know that the plugs are fairly new because we saw the receipt in the dash where they were purchased. Well, fairly new being they were bought three years ago, but the truck's not been driven more. I've driven it more than anybody ever probably has in the last 3 years, because I drove it 35 miles home, and I've drove it around town some. But she just don't, she ain't got no power. So let's verify we got compression. If we got compression, then I want to pop the valve covers off of it and verify that we got movement with the, well, if we've got compression though, the valves have to be going up and down, so that would be a waste of time probably. It may just be that carburetor. We know this carburetor's off an 80s model, you know, square body, because it's got those cutouts on the bottom for the air mixture jets. So yeah, and if Michael, if you're watching out there, that's my nephew. He likes these square bodies. He's got some newer ones, newer than this, and he's got some ones that are built in the 80s. But anyway, if you're watching, yeah, that carburetor, that's one that would come on something probably like you got. So anyway, if we verify we got compression, then Curtis from down at Canary's Hot Rod Garage loaned me a carburetor to check on this thing, and it's off of a 77. It's a quadrajet, and it was running when he took it off. So we may slap that on there and see if it runs. If that's the problem, we'll know right away. Show you more. Well, they're mowing again in the neighborhood. They only mow when I want to film. It's kind of like my air compressor. That thing only kicks on whenever I want to film. So let's see if we can get this screwed in here. Well, I don't know why I can't. There we go. There we go. We got her going now. Okay. Let's snap this thing on the end of it here. And you guys watch that. Well, looks like we got 150. I'd say that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and then I'll show you the results. Number 5, fire in the hole. Well, looks like 150. Well, that was the last one there, and that one is a 155. Whoops. So that's telling me we got compression in all cylinders. I don't know if you can see that, but so we got pretty much 2 of them are at 155. Well, 3 of them, I guess. This one was 155 as well. So the rest of them are at 150. Gosh, I've seen these Chevys run on 60 pounds. So and less actually. So anyway, I think we'll just go on to the next thing, which is carburetor. You know, because we're making compression. That tells me the valves are working, that the camshaft must be good. Because if the valves weren't opening and closing, I wouldn't think you'd have compression. And since all the spark plugs are out, and we're doing a compression check, we're checking compression between cylinders. So, because I've had that happen before. I think I've spoke about that before on here. But anyway, I'm wondering if this old 80s model carburetor, the quadrajet thing that's got half the linkage and stuff missing off of it, if that ain't the problem. All right, show you more. So whomever has had their fingers in this thing, I noticed that this clip where this hooks onto isn't on here, and I'm like, what is the deal? Then I looked up here, and they've got it up here, so that tells me someone's had their fingers in this, of course, at some time or another, and I guess they didn't know enough to know that that's what holds the spark plug thingy on there, the spark plug holders. So I'm going to swap these around and put that back down there where it's supposed to be. You know, this is a Chevrolet. These things are supposed to run. So we'll get them switched around and I'll show you more. Okay, well, I got that all buttoned up and got everything put back together there. So we know we got good compression. Like I said, the next thing we're going to do is pull this old carburetor off of here and put that used one on there that we borrowed from Curtis down there at Canary's Hot Rod Garage. Why can I never say that right? Anyway, so let's get to it. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is take the linkage loose here and the spring and the kick down blah blah thingy, and then we'll take the bolts out here, there and back there, which will release that bracketry. And then over here we're going to have to take this fuel line off, and in the back should be the hose coming off of there for the brake booster. And this carburetor is the one that Curtis gave us to try, so I know this is going to be different, and we'll have to put that piece in the back for the brake vacuum booster. And but I think the rest of it, I mean, this is an older style one, which is what this truck is supposed to have, not this 80s quadrajet. So anyway, let's get to it and I'll show you more. Okay, so got that off of there. We got the one in the back taken out. These pulled out of here. Well, can't see that one. That's on your side. Where am I at? Okay. Got that vacuum line taken off there. Pull that out. Should be the bracket for the whole back. Those bolts look correct. You just never know what somebody's done here. Alright, let's see if we can get this quadra junk off of here. Well, there she goes. Well, I guess we need to pull this off of here. There we go. Get back on. That ain't even the right size for that. Let's see, I know we got to unhook this linkage for the power downshift thingy. This up out of the way. Get it over here somewhere maybe. We'll reach up in here and see if we can pull this off of here. Come on now. There we go. Take it that way. Oh boy. Look at that big old bug there. don't think we need you up there. That thing looks like, maybe that might have a problem, but that all looks okay. That's broke off. Actually, I think I got the linkage for that thing in the glove box. All right, let's look and see what we got here. Show you more. Okay, well, we can probably look these numbers up, but this is what tells me this is off of an 80s, because these have been sawed off with a hacksaw and the plugs popped out. And this one here, which is off of a 77, does not have that. It has the regular adjustment for the air mixture. So, and we've got all the rest of the linkage here that moves these around, which is missing off of this one, and who knows what all is missing off this one actually. So yeah, so let's see if this will move over to this one so we can hook our gas up. And this one doesn't have a choke on it. It's probably had a manual choke probably at some point. So, and I don't think this one works, so we won't worry about that. Show you more. So we got that switched around there. No problems on that. Just screwed that barb out of here, and I'm going to plop that up on there a little bit like that. Let's hook up that linkage over here on the downshift thingy. Called. Well, can't do it too good from there, can I? So I'll have to get up in here. Let's see what we got here. That's on there. There she goes. Now I always like to make sure that these will open up. See, that won't open up. Well, we ain't got the bolts in it. Okay. But before we tighten that down, let's get this vacuum thingy hooked up back here. If we can. Okay, so what I got here, I had to take the other fitting off the back of that other carburetor. Now she'll go on there. I just want to start that. I don't want to tighten it down yet till I get everything lined up. There. So that's finger tight. So that's good. Now, if I was going to keep this on here, I'd hook up that choke linkage from the heat thingy up to this little bracketry. But we're not keeping this on here. We're just using this for test purposes. So I want to, you know, I don't want to chance modifying anything because it's not my carburetor. All right, let me get this back bracket hooked up and everything hooked up, and we'll see what happens. Show you more. Okay, well, I think I got everything hooked up there. I did take my file, and on this flare fitting for the fuel line here, somebody had really just wonked around on it with an opened-in wrench. I mean, guys, get you a box or a line wrench. I mean. So anyway, I had to square that up a little bit to get my line wrench on there so I could tighten that down. I got my vacuum advance hooked up here. Got this one sucking off the PCV valve, and we got the one in the back plugged up that goes to the brake booster. So we've got no fast idle cam hooked up, like I said, from that heat sink thing down in there, so we won't have that. And it doesn't have any fuel in the bowl, and you know, I don't know if the float's going to be stuck, so we're going to tap around on her a little bit right there just to make sure. So you guys are watching, let's see what happens. Well, it's definitely running on all cylinders now, and maybe this other one just had a bad vacuum leak. This one's not opening up the back secondaries on it, but you know, I don't know if that little vacuum pot on the side is working correctly or not. You know, I don't have an idea. Anyway, let's take it for a spin around the block. Show you more. Well, here we go. Good or bad. The windows are so dirty in this thing, I can't even see out of it. We should probably give it a bath. But here we go. I definitely think that the carburetor's been the problem, but you never knew, you know, or you never know until you check stuff out. So anyway, I think we'll just give the old girl a bath, and we're going to see about getting us a carburetor. I'm not opposed to that thermoquad, well, that ain't a thermoquad, that whatever that is up in there. Quadrajet. I'm not opposed to that, but might just be as good as just to get a Holly and put on there, or maybe we get a new intake manifold. You know, I don't know yet. I know one thing, I can't see out the windshield, so let's get this thing washed up and see how bad the body really is. Show you more. Well, you can definitely tell the difference between here and here, but this is, you know, it's still dirty, and this thing hasn't been washed in years. So we'll keep scrubbing at it. I'll show you when we get done. Well, I got to tell you, this thing looks pretty good wet, but it needs a lot of work, and I know that. So what I'm going to have to do is source me a carburetor, and you know, I don't care to put a Quadrajet back on there if I can get one, you know, somewhere that's not all taken apart and it's for the right year, because this thing, the one that came with it, ain't even the right one, and so it doesn't have the right kind of stuff to even make any of the choke or any of that work. So anyway, I don't know. If bleep bloop down below, as old Derek from Vice Grip Garage would say, and if you got one you're wanting to sell or give away or whatever, let me know. I mean, I ain't opposed to driving someplace and getting something. I do want to thank Curtis from down there at Canary's Hot Rod Garage for loaning me this carburetor so we could actually see if it's going to run. And I think if the vacuum secondaries ain't opening up on this, so I don't know if that little dash pod or whatever's bad in there, because it's got vacuum to the carburetor, but it doesn't do its thing. So, you know, it's been sitting around in his garage, so it worked when he took it off. You know how that goes. But for sure, a special thanks to him, because you know, that helped me get this narrowed down. You know, we went through the plugs and looked at that, and we've looked at the compression, and I'm satisfied it's got enough compression to run. So, you know, the next step is to get this thing, get a carburetor on it. I want to pull the radiator out of it, take it up to the guy that does my radiator work, and have him, you know, clean it out, make sure it's good to go, because any of you that's been on Power Tour, you know you're going to overheat, man, because you're going to be sitting in traffic. But with that said, I think we need to probably, you know, like I said, focus on getting the carburetor, get the, you know, we got to change the oil. I probably want to pull the pan on the transmission and kind of look at that oil and, you know, get an idea of whether it's got, you know how abusive of a life it's had. And we need to check the rear end. We need to check the brakes. We need to put our new wheels and tires on here. Well, our brand used wheels and tires on here. So, you know, we got a lot to do. And I think we only got about 7 weeks to do it. So we need to get busy and get it done. I'm not too worried about getting the body up and all wonderful before Power Tour, but I definitely want to get it roadworthy, or where I feel comfortable driving it, you know, 6 hours, because I'm going to drive Power Tour this year from home, because it's pretty much all close except for 2 venues, and I'm only able to go on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday anyway because of some other commitments I've got that week. So with that said, I think I'm going to end this video here, and you know, I don't know, tell me what you think we ought to do with this. I mean, maybe we just drive it like it is, but I did get some doors. You probably saw that in that video that came out last week. So I've got some new doors that are in good shape, and I've got a hood. This hood's been compromised pretty bad, and it's rusted in the front, but it's not all beat up, and I didn't notice until I got that hood home. The hood that I got has got hail damage on it. So, you know, I'm not sure what we'll do hood-wise, but for sure we've got some doors. I've already bought all the metal for down below, so, you know, we can weld that in, but probably not before Power Tour. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Again, thanks for tuning in and watching, and, you know, it's time for us to get old brown bag up here and see if we can get a fuel system on that, because I need to have one of these trucks running all the time. So if I can get that one running, get it put back together and get a fuel system in it, then we can work on this old blue brown. Get it? You know, blue and brown, blue brown. Yeah. Anyway, be sure and like and share. And as always, we're making it just like brand used here, baby. Run, Tallulah, run! Hi, baby.